Hi, I'm Riz and welcome back to Veteran Gamers. MMORPG genre has been dying for years. At the height of its fame, World of Warcraft reigned supreme. And then everybody and their mother tried to copy its fame and success. But they were doing it wrong. They just made a carbon copies of WoW without any kind of thought, effort or soul put into it. What happened next is that market was saturated with basically same game, just different skins, teams, graphics. Nobody was surprised when these cheap cash grab attempts were not as successful as WoW and were not money printing machines. Greed got better of the most developers and publishers who tried to make MMO at the time. The only one who actually succeeded are the still alive and kicking are the games which didn't try to copy WoW, such as Elder Scrolls Online and Guild Wars 2. That greed that I spoke of was known at the time as Warcraft sickness. Unfortunately, this has left a far-reaching consequences for entire genre. It never recovered from this and is now a dying genre. Which is a shame, because who doesn't want to at least sometimes play with their friends and meet new people online? While 2019 wasn't really good when it comes to new and exciting MMORPG games, 2020 and 2021 might finally bring much needed breath of fresh air to this stale genre. There's a few games which will try to shake things up, innovate and add new stuff such as survival elements. We present you MMO games which we think have a highest chance to revive and bring back interest to MMORPGs. Amazon is making MMO title called New World that takes us to a non-existent continent in the 17th century. There are other adventurers on the island with whom you either ally yourself or fight against them. And there is also a dark danger lurking in the heart of the island. The island defends itself against the invaders and sends legions of the undead to drive you away. Amazon believes they can introduce something new to MMO genre with this title, allowing players to build the most of the objects themselves and populate locations on the map. New World has a lot to offer, a huge world full of events, activities and missions for players, alliances, massive 50 vs 50 warfare. What is really interesting is that this MMO will have a lot to offer players who prefer single player and PvE gaming, which definitely delights many. The combat system of the New World is said to be comparable to an action role-playing game with direct control. Solo players can build their own customizable houses and help the home region grow and thrive. Crafting mechanics and classes, characters development complete the overall package. New World is scheduled to be released on May 26, 2020, exclusively for Windows PC via Steam. Amazon is not done with just New World. Last year it was announced that Warframe owners would be launching a new Lord of the Rings MMO game, and recently it has been announced that Amazon Game Studios will join the development of the game. Amazon currently holds the exclusive rights to the Lord of the Rings series, so it's no surprise that they got involved in this project. However, it has been confirmed that the series and the game will not be linked in any way. Amazon will be in charge of distributing and promoting the game in the European and US markets and has hired veterans of the MMO genre who have previously worked at EverQuest and World of Warcraft to develop the game. The game's story will be based on the period before the events in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books, and Amazon has announced that the game will be free for PC and console players. It doesn't happen often, but there are times when a new and unfamiliar studio with a good idea enchants an audience who wants to throw their money at their feet. Something like this happened with the game Ashes of Creation, an MMORPG project by a young Intrepid Studios team that exceeded the requested amount of at least $750,000 in its Kickstarter campaign on its first day. Game is developed by genre veterans who had their fingers on EverQuest, EverQuest 2, and the cancelled EverQuest Next. Ashes of Creation was introduced in response to the dominance of pay-to-win content in the MMO genre. It is an adventure in the fantasy world that starts from scratch by setting in a new continent. The game world will be subject to coincidence, changes, and will react to what players do. Developers cite seasons as an example. For a winter that can take several cycles on the server and maybe another cycle on another server with the influence of the players. The game will be characterized by a sandbox world which is divided into nodes. Your actions within the game world affect these nodes. There is a small settlement in each node area which is influenced by you. If you do a lot of mining in the area, the village will develop into a settlement that specializes in mining. If you fish a lot, you will develop a place into a fishing village. But don't overdo fishing, you could make a sea monster that from then on tyrannize the node. As players finishing quests and kill monsters, the node gains level and locks the new items for that province, such as quests, dungeons, monsters, and the like. On the level 4, that node becomes town. In level 5, city, in level 6, metropolis, and so on. But there comes the trick. Namely, only a certain number of nodes can be a high level at a time, and this creates a conflict, where players from other provinces try to destroy another higher level node to invest in one already invested by them. Obviously, the developers are implementing some ideas here that were intended for EverQuest Next in a similar form. Game will also feature artisan classes, player housing, PvP, dueling, arena, battleground, siege, node wars, guild wars, open world, PK system, PvA, dungeons, raids, open world bosses, and so on. Ashes of Creation does not have to be purchased for the official release. Only those who want to participate in the test phases have to invest money in startup packages. However, Ashes of Creation will require a monthly subscription. There will also be an in-game shop with cosmetic goods. The Pearl Abyss is best known for their very popular MMO title Black Desert Online. Although maintaining and updating such an MMO requires considerable resources, the developer has been working on a new big game called Crimson Desert for a long time. Although originally developed as a prequel to the game, Crimson Desert has evolved into a brand new and original IP. The game's story will be located on the continent named Pewell. The same will be factionally divided and will be filled with the various dangerous fantastic creatures. Unlike Black Desert, the game will have a significant amount of single-player content in addition to MMO component. In a major story-focused campaign, players will take on the role of a leader of a mercenary group with a tragic past. Although there are not many details so far, players will be able to establish relationships with members of the group. It is unknown if mercenary group will function like clans, but they will be a significant part of the game world and PvP component of the game. The game will retain a fast and distinctive combat system focusing on the combat attacks seen in Black Desert. All of this will be packed with beautiful visuals that, like Black Desert, again raise the scale of what we are used to seeing in MMO games. Pearl Abyss plans to start beta testing on PC and consoles sometime this year. Last Oasis is a survival MMO located long after an apocalypse in which the last people constantly have to overcome the scorching sun. That's why everyone lives in strange nomadic machines going around the world with mechanical vehicles. After the planet you lived on stopped spinning, the post-apocalypse took over the world of Last Oasis. Developed forms of civilization have disappeared and human societies have fallen into the gangs of half-naked armed bold men in search of food. And women? The remains of the mankind have built a gigantic wandering city, Flotilla. Every day, Flotilla sends both voluntary and involuntary nomads to the passing oasis to collect necessary resources for the city to move on. Not many come back alive. Players take on the role of involuntary chosen nomads from Flotilla. You need to collect resources and build walkers these ship-like machines inspired by woodpank, like steampunk only made of wood, are needed for traveling, fighting, harvesting, and building bases. The walkers can be upgraded and can be equipped with different attachments for different purposes. At the highest level, clan warfare involves multiple walkers with players on both sides. Habitable zone of the planet is constantly moving, so players will have to stay mobile and work together to get resources from an area before it, and they are burned to crisp. We wanted to go away from how other survival games handle respawning resources, said project lead Florian Hotfreit. I hope this is how it's pronounced. Instead of respawning resources at the same spot, which encourages camping, those spots we bring up new map constantly with fresh resources and expedition maps that are only accessible for a few hours before the sun scorches them. We really want to commit to the theme of traveling and exploring. Game starts early access in spring. That's it for today's video. What do you think, which are the most promising MMO games to be released in the next few years? Share your thoughts in comments, and if you like this video, subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video.